Clustering illusion is the tendency to mistakenly consider small clusters of information as relevant, like small winning or losing streaks for example, that will inevitably arise in data with low statistical significance. For example, if you randomly generate a small sample of trades, you will notice that small clusters of winning and losing trades appear. This can give you an illusion that this randomly generated strategy has some sort of quality. However, this is how data inevitably behaves. Let's take the example of a randomly generated series of trades where the risk-reward ratio is 1. Theoretically speaking, if you generate enough data to have statistical significance, the ratio between winning and losing trades is going to be 50%. However, if you generate a small amount of data, it can give you the impression that this randomly generated strategy has some sort of tendency. The first 10 trades of this sample could be winning trades for example. If you only analyze this small cluster of the data, you have the impression that the system tends to win more than it loses, which we know to be incorrect in this case. The clustering illusion, along with other similar biases, is the number one enemy of successful risk management application in the markets. Since we also observed that trading without good risk management is a bad idea, we can understand how something very specific can have such broad consequences. If you're not able to go around your clustering illusion, you will fail as a trader. There is no other option in this case. I would say once again that this bias comes from our pattern-seeking nature. We desperately want to find patterns to understand the world around us, and we do this automatically. In fact, we must do it to a certain extent, otherwise we would need to relearn the same things every day. If we didn't have the capacity to form patterns, we would need to get a new driving license every time we stepped inside a car. In fact, just to get to the car in the first place, we would need to learn how to walk every time it was needed. The essential point is, pattern seeking is essential to learning, which is essential to life in general. However, obsessive pattern seeking can turn into things like the clustering effect.